Let's focus on pharma stocks. They have been outperforming, reacting to various news triggers. Let's discuss the sector outlook with Vishal Manchanda, the research analyst at Systematix Group, who joins in. Hi, Vishal. Good morning. Good to see you in. It's been a while since we spoke. I wanted to ask you about Wockhardt. We had the management yesterday on the channel, and they were sounding very, very optimistic in terms of revenue growth, in terms of margins improving as well. Did you have a look at the release that they gave out, and any view on the stock?
So Nigel, I don't cover Wockhardt, but broadly, I keep tracking their kind of the core asset that they have, which is WCK5222, their NCE asset. I think that's one of the most potent antibiotics we have seen in the history. So I think from my perspective, I think the antibiotic market so far hasn't given us very large opportunities. If I look at the last 10 years, I think the largest opportunity that has shaped up in the US would be $200 million, and globally about $750 million is the peak sales that we have seen. So I think we'll have to wait and see how this pans out. But looking at precedents, like how other antibiotics which have been launched in the last 10 years, I would, the US is actually not a large market, but I think the ex-US is a large market where commercial excellence would be required, and probably Wockhardt will need to choose the right partner.
Okay, all right. Vishal, let's talk about another stock then. Dr. Reddy's, spate of news is what we have seen in this week itself, and that's why the stock has been buzzing. What's your view on the news that we've seen? How material could be in terms of a positive? And your official rating on the stock?
So I have a hold on Reddy's as of now, considering, so I think the sector itself has a lot of uncertainties. Reddy's probably has been doing a lot in terms of putting in a lot of licensing relationships with companies to kind of ensure that they continue to grow even with one of their large opportunities kind of so I think, so basically Revlimid coming off next year, they are putting in pieces together to replace what they lose from Revlimid. But I think while they're putting in pieces together, we are not sure how long these efforts will kind of take in terms of reflecting in the numbers. So one of the large opportunities we have for Dr. Reddy's is Semaglutide launch in Canada next year. Again, it's a large market. They are one of the 4 or 5 filers, one of the 4 filers in Canada who are targeting to launch Semaglutide there. We might see more coming through before the patent expiry. So there are a lot of uncertainties in terms of whether the innovator will give market share to the generic players or not. So we'll have to wait and see. The opportunity, the market size is large, but execution is where things can go wrong.
How large is the market size of that?
I think right now it's about $1 billion in Canada, but that can expand because once prices come down in terms of volume, the opportunities can expand, say 20-30% or even higher.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about another frontline name, which is Divi's Laboratories. A lot of interest on the stock, but you're not too comfortable on the valuation front. If yes, could you tell us what valuations is it trading at, and at what level would you be comfortable?
So I think I have a target valuation multiple of 40 times on FY27, while on my numbers, it's trading around 65 times, 60 times FY27. So I think if I look at the price earning to growth ratio, it should be around 2.5 times of what growth we expect. While if I look at global peers like Lonza, Wuxi, which kind of have the same growth rates, so their PEG ratios are around, Lonza would be around 1.3x and Wuxi is at less than 1x in terms of the valuation. So that is where I think the disconnect is. While having said that, Divi's probably does a higher return on equity versus these guys.
Okay, all right. So you're not too comfortable with regard to Divi's valuations. That's why you have a sell as of now. Hold rating on Dr. Reddy's. And Wockhardt you're not covering. Let's get to your top picks. I believe Sun Pharma features in there. So give us the rationale out there. Your top pick from the pharma pack first. Let's get the couple of picks out of the way with the rationale.
So my broader rationale for the sector is we need to kind of not be into names that have large US generics exposure. So there might be a US exposure, but less of US generics exposure is what I prefer. And if I look at Sun Pharma, their US generics exposure is about 15% of the overall sales, while the peers are around say 40 to 50%. So I think US generics is where we think where I think there will be struggle in terms of growth. So probably US generics will pull down the growth rate for most companies over the next 3 to 4 years. So Sun not being positioned there, and I think the rest of the 85% of the business of Sun can grow high single digit to mid teens. So probably Sun can deliver higher growth in the sector versus the peer names.
So from the frontline name, Sun Pharma, and I think you are positive on Alchem, on Ajanta, I think so. If you could tell us.
Cipla and Ajanta are the other names I prefer. So again, Cipla, I think there is visibility on a pipeline as far as the US is concerned. Their US exposure is also not that large like others. They are around 30% exposed to the US. So a relatively lower exposure, maybe higher than Sun, but still lower than Zydus, Lupin or Reddy's. So that's one positive, and I think the domestic franchise is relatively much stronger than other companies in the large cap space. Okay. So I think those two things are I think are the ones that I like for Cipla.
Okay. All right, Vishal, we'll leave it on that note for this morning. Thank you very much for joining in and giving us some perspective on these pharma stocks.